Is Ezekiel Jackson going to win the Royal Rumble in 2024? That is the main topic for today's podcast. You guys have any thoughts?
My thought is yes,
Yeah?
he
You
will.
can't. You can't. Lucha Underground killed him.
Well, yeah, but this isn't Lucha Underground. If he's coming back for the Rumble,
Nope,
No,
he's dead.
they'll bring him back like they'll bring
Listen.
back Test.
listen, that's for true. They're bringing back Tez. I don't know if you heard about this.
Dude, I was honestly surprised that Nick Khan even knew who Test was, first of all. But that was so awkward when one of the guys, I forget who it was, like from TKO, was like, "Oh yeah, I remember when Test had the marriage with Stephanie McMahon. They should do that again." And it was so awkward. Nick Khan was like, he actually passed years ago.
He kind of died a couple years ago,
Big problem if you want to bring him back.
but I think they should bring him back anyway. They could find a way.
God, it's like when they did the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, and the fucking King of Saudi Arabia wanted a bunch of fucking wrestlers who
Yokozuna. Yep.
Yeah, he wanted Yokozuna, so instead we got Wish.com Yokozuna flown in.
Listen, if I wish they could have brought back Yokozuna. That dude fucking ruled. He was 900 fucking pounds doing fucking crazy ass shit every week.
Was he doing crazy ass shit?
Yo, listen, when you're 900 pounds, walking some crazy ass shit.
Oh,
So yeah,
God.
he would get fucking, he would actually bump though. Like he would take a
True.
bump
True.
and he would get back up. He wouldn't just stay on the ground for 25 minutes.
Well, speaking of TKO, there's a troubling rumor starting right now that they are considering bringing in weight classes to WWE for their championship. So, like with UFC, you have heavyweight, light heavyweight, welterweight, middleweight. There's a whole bunch of different weight classes. And the idea is to have that UFC style weight class system in pro wrestling. That just sounds awful because
Yeah,
you would pretty much limit the amount of the types of matches that you can do, right? Because if, like, let's say Roman Reigns is the heavyweight champion, most wrestlers, like, if you just go by their weight, like Seth Rollins is not a heavyweight, Finn Balor's not a heavyweight, like most of the big talent is not technically heavyweight. I think it's like 225 or more. That's how UFC classifies the heavyweight division. And it's just like, if you, like, they tried the whole weight thing multiple times with the cruiserweight division, and it never worked out. So if you can't do it with one, how are you going to do it with like 5, 6, 7, 8 divisions? And it's just like pro wrestling and MMA are two completely different things. The reason why you have weight classes in MMA is because you want it to be a fair fight. But wrestling is not a fight. It's scripted
it's
entertainment.
It's not real. It doesn't matter if a 700-pound wrestler is taking on a 200-pound wrestler. Unlike in a real fight, where that's gonna make a difference in a real fight. But
Right.
in a fucking scripted match where nothing is real, it doesn't matter what the weight classes are. It doesn't matter what size they are. In fact, a lot of times, little person, big person matches are some of the most entertaining matches that they can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the whole reason, like, the Gunther Chad Gable match has been go so well, is because of that fact that Gable can do a lot of stuff that you don't expect him to do. Like, he can deadlift, German suplex Braun Strowman and Gunther, and we wouldn't get to see that kind of stuff if they introduced weight classes. I think the only upside is the fact that WWE can kind of fake the weight classes to a certain degree, depending on what they decide to do with them.
I mean, sure, if like within like 15 pounds or something, but you're never gonna get like a Omos against Rey Mysterio or something like that if they brought in weight classes.
Right.
Or I just think like it would literally limit what they can do so much. Like you'd be able to get maybe 3 different options for a fucking title match at any given time.
Yeah.
Instead of right now where it's just open up to like, hey, you want to challenge for the belt? Sure, go right ahead.
Yeah. The thing is, I think this might be a sign, like a very early sign, that TKO is starting to like try to change the product in a way that like it just seems like out of touch, and they don't necessarily know what makes pro wrestling work. And I feel like they have a lot of knowledge about UFC and MMA, and I'm worried that they're going to try to use that and mix it into WWE. Also, there's talk of like having crossover, like having UFC people wrestle in WWE. I mean, that has mixed results. Like Brock Lesnar, well, he started off in WWE, then went to UFC. But then you had people like Ronda Rousey. Then you had people like Cain Velasquez, and all these people that just because they might be a big star, and even if they have like a wrestling background, like in MMA, doesn't necessarily mean they're a good pro wrestler. So I'm hoping, yeah.
I will actually defend Cain Velasquez because if you watched any of his stuff in AAA, he actually was a fairly decent.
That is fucking
star.
True.
They brought him into WWE though, and they wanted him to do the UFC style.
Wasn't he also injured?
Yeah, he was. He had like a brace around
injured.
his. Yeah.
I thought so. I was gonna say I thought he had like a legit injury, so like it didn't help him any.
Is he still in trouble with the law?
No, I think he's good.
Okay. I mean, I don't really want him back. I was just asking.
I'd be okay if they brought him in and let him do what he was doing in AAA.
Yeah, the dude was doing like back handspring elbows and.
But like,
shit,
I don't want to see them bring him in and do a worked UFC fight. Like that's never good.
No.
Right.
If you do a fake real fight, it does not work well 95% of the time.
Yeah, scripted MMA is garbage.
Like, yeah. Like, it worked with people like Brock Lesnar, for instance, can come in and do that, like, shoot work UFC style, but that was because that was already kind of Brock's style. He already did a lot of amateur wrestling where he used his power and stuff. The UFC stuff just kind of added to it and made it more intense and more terrifying when he came out. Cain Velasquez, though, people knew what he could do on the indie scene, and then it's like, wait, why are you doing this stupid shit now?
The thing is, you saying that though, like, when Brock first came like back to WWE, yeah, that's what he was doing, that like shitty fake style, and those were his worst matches. Now that he's just doing whatever the fuck and actually having matches, they're good again. Like his matches when he first came in were like, he was like, I'm always gonna do these submissions and just go for my fucking fake UFC punches.
Raw Underground.
Worst. Hey,
Raw
Raw
Underground was shit.
Fuck you. I will defend Raw Underground till my fucking death.
Okay.
Because they introduced you to Omos.
Yeah, that's the only reason why.
That's not the only reason. There was a lot of good things about Raw Underground.
Such as?
The Raw Underground dancers were cool. Remember them? They were
no, I actually don't. I don't.
They were there for the first episode of Raw Underground. Shane McMahon just had a bunch of girls dancing in the fucking background. They had Dolph Ziggler get the shit kicked out of him. That was kind of cool. Remember that?
I know. Every episode of Raw Underground, I was waiting for Shane McMahon to just start cutting up a key of cocaine and shit and just start distributing.
Well, why would he do that?
I don't know. There had to been some explanation for why he was so goddamn sweaty.
Well, yeah, he's Shane McMahon. There's your explanation. Dude fucking sweats buckets. Doesn't matter what he's doing. Have you seen him just cut a promo in the ring? He will be dripping sweat within 30 seconds. Imagine being in like a fucking boiler room where they held that shit, where it's gonna be 100 degrees. Of course he's gonna be sweating. And he's got fucking Baba Tunde in there, getting ready to kick his ass if things go wrong in Raw Underground.
You mean Dabba-Kato.
Whatever his name is.
You don't even know his real ring name. You're not a real fan.
No, I don't know what his ring name is right now. He's had 3 of them. Didn't he go by like Commander Aziz?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Which
What's
is
he
so
going by
weird.
now?
I don't even know. I don't even know if he's still employed. Is he?
All right, he's Dabba-Kato again. Okay.
He's Dabba-Kato in NXT.
Okay. Does he do anything on NXT?
I don't know. Last I know, he was feuding with Apollo Crews.
I didn't know Apollo Crews was in NXT.